What is up? I have no idea what part this is of any of the videos, but I wanted to let you know it's all done and actually went on a trip. They went on a trip up the Michigan, 600-mile round trip. What I have to do here yet, I need to, yeah, looks like she's getting kind of, want to run that pipe out a little bit more. This side looks pretty good. I didn't clean it off last time, so we'll run that out a little bit more on that side. A later day, probably let him get some more miles on it. When it comes back in, I'll do it then. But this is the exhaust, how it turned out. So this is a same, I can't even see, same in, same out muffler. Boop, bloop, doo. Everything's been pie cut. What a flippin' nightmare, let me tell you. Some cheap ass eBay headers. I'll overlay it. I got a dyno graph for it. We took this thing to Sound Performance, had it dynoed. It's pretty cool. I had an issue, the way I set these hangers up before, that one looks like it's holding up pretty good now. This piece of rubber, I don't know if you see it, this piece of rubber, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, zoom, 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 zoom. No, you can't really tell. Okay, so that piece of rubber ran down to here. Being at this muffler, all the heat's generated back here and ended up burning through this rubber and pulling out. So I ran this piece of, I don't know if you can see that well, I really hope so. This is a piece of 1 inch by like 3/16 or something like that, steel, maybe thinner, I don't know what it is. And I just double bolted it up there and then twisted it and bent, so this will help dissipate the heat before it gets up there, and it seems to be holding. I mean, he went on that trip and everything seems to be okay. This is actually my first time underneath it since the trip. He installed some, go back here, let me finish this first. He installed some this style of tie rod end. Well, in here, this is a aluminum knuckle and they have a steel insert. Well, when he knocked out the tie rods, the original ones, that steel insert was stuck to the original tie rod end, causing that thing to stick, way down, or stuck to it. So there's a huge gaping hole and just a thin piece up there. So the way he put this together, there is that tapered sleeve, that goes up into the tapered portion of this. He just put that up in there without that big round thing and ended up snapping a bolt on the way back. He was only like, 3 miles away from here, but we did some hardcore pulls in this thing. It's scary to think about. But yeah, she's all done. So that's fixed. I took care of that issue. I gotta show you guys all the power steering stuff. So this is the power steering lines. I didn't cut the zip tie. Oh well. There's some fittings up there. I can't. Oh geez, man, I've got some really bad footage here, huh? Okay. I can kind of see me up there. So there's special fittings that go into the Porsche rack. I'll have more videos on when I do the Boxer build. That'll have a lot more in-depth build progress on that. These are oil cooler lines. The oil cooler's tucked up in there. Some fancy, crazy little mount I did to tuck that up in there. I had to cut some slits so that pump would sit up in there. Oh geez. Oh, okay. So yeah. Originally I had the lines run down here for the Boxer motor. And they would come down through here and just rest against that because the Boxer motor actually sat a lot lower than the LS2 does. So the LS2 was tucked up in there pretty nicely. So I just ended up running the lines up here. We put some sleeves on here just so, the stainless steel lines, I doubt it was going to hurt it, but we did that just in case. So this is the original oil level sensor. Those sweet, horrible welds. Give me a break, it's getting better. The exhaust did not, I back purged one. When did I back purge? I think this I back purged. Holy shit, I give more respect to these guys that do this and make it look like tits. This shit takes forever. I'm just not good at it, but good God, I probably have 15, 20 hours into this exhaust. Fabbing it, seeing if everything fit, all that fun gobbledygook. They didn't, it's not 100% symmetrical because these headers are off. This one sits back farther. And so technically what I should have done is I should have cut this right here, cut this back, and then be able to push that muffler back. And then I could have made the muffler sit symmetrical. Right now they're not. But whatever, I mean, it turned out good enough to where you can barely tell. So I'll just redo this tip and you won't even be able to tell. So not a big deal. It looks, it's good. It's not the best. I guess because I'm used to looking at guys on weld porn and all that shit. If any of you guys ever look on that on Instagram, there's some top-notch fabricators on there. Those guys do amazing work. But I started getting the hang of it. Back purging uses a lot of extra argon. I didn't have a setup like that. I just ran my MIG welding gas into one and back purged. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. It turns out pretty nice, but he wasn't too worried about it, so I just didn't worry about it. Car was kind of a time crisis too. I wanted it back at a certain time, so that's it. I will lower it down. Oh, so if anybody is doing this, Bob, so this is where we cut it. This is the chop this off. This usually goes across, all the way across, and that's how we chopped it all out. Chopped it all up to snake it all up in there. So that's how that sits. I can show you about all the cooling. I don't know if I showed you the rest of the cooling, how I designed that. This thing has phenomenal. Burn through? Nope. This thing's got really good heat and cooling is excellent. On the trip, sorry, I'm going to tilt you guys sideways here. On the trip, he ran 172. He's got a 160 thermostat here. Ran 172 the entire trip. Oil temps at 4,500 would creep up around 210, 220 with the oil cooler on. With it off, it would just peg that thing. It would just go crazy. I think he hit like 250. No. Maybe it sits around 200 with the oil cooler on. The oil cooler off, it jumped up to like 220 because I think he has his oil cooler or his warning light set at about 220, 225. We still got some more. I want to do some more work back here. I'm gonna figure out what the hell I'm gonna do with all this. Because right there, that's the throttle body. Right there. I had to just hack the shit out of this rear deck lid. This was from a previous job I did. We tried to install an oil cooler back here. Did not work, but intake air temps are usually about 10 to 15 degrees above ambient with this setup. Yeah, let's get a look here. Look, see. There she is. She's in there. So yeah, I ended up having to do a cast 90 to this. I tell you what, oh man, welding this thin, this is like normal intercooler piping to this cast. This cast absorbs so much heat and this shit wants to melt, so it's very hard to get it welding good. And by the time you get this thing heated up, you're basically done with the damn thing. So if I probably would have put this in, say, an oven and preheated this a little bit, compared to this, it probably would have welded a lot nicer. That didn't turn out, that turned out okay. I mean, it's just a lot of practice. So wasn't the greatest, but wasn't the worst I've seen. This, I was practicing with my dipping techniques. I don't remember my filler size, so I was playing around with like how much to put in a puddle. So that's why they're kind of uneven. I had to do some grinding in here to get these to fit. These, it really ticked me off. I forgot where I put my 6x1 helicoil. I was just going to helicoil all these, this flange, so I didn't have to run nuts. So I could just run bolts the way through. So it's kind of my little pet peeve of the thing there. And then we had to do this for the map sensor because this was already this was drilled already by someone else when he bought this intake manifold, and they put this in there. I'm assuming they were probably running like a 4-bar map sensor, maybe like a gee whiz, firewall mount one or something. So we just did this. For right now, I have the breather capped off. We haven't had a single issue with it yet. I kept one side off, and I'm still running the PCV over here. I think I showed you guys that before. I welded the valve cover. And this is a different valve cover. I don't know if I previously stated that or not. Since this car came from a burnt truck, this valve cover is warped. When we went and tested, drove it, it's spewing oil everywhere. So we put that on there. Everything seems good. This coolant level. Oh, she's a little bit low. Oh, good. So it might be working out the. Yeah, it's just on the very, very minimum side. I'll have to add some more. There's an air pocket in there. So yeah, so this is for, this is heater core in. Yes. So this is heater core in. This wraps around the motor, around to the back down the heater core line. And then the other heater core line, if you can see, not very damn good, can you? Right there. So this is your primary out for the radiator. So this is usually a pressure line, and so I just welded a T-fitting in there and ran that up to the other intercooler line, and then off the chassis where they hook to where the hard lines start, we ran 45s, and then I ran like couplers and hooked them in. Technically, I want to switch this over to those crimp clamps, make it a little bit cleaner looking. I'll probably do that on the Boxer. And then for this, that's what I did there. I just ran a line there. What I'm thinking about doing, if we do another swap, I might take all this off and see if I can't get hoses made. You know, like this style, and then just get a whole hose for like a swap. It'd be perfect, because then you could just get a hose and just have another piece come off there. It's all molded in one piece. And so if anybody wants to do a swap, you already have hoses set up. I mean, the hose part is fairly simple. I would definitely, if I were to do this again, I'm not gonna run Kennedy Engineering. I don't really care for. I mean, it works, but I don't care for it. I would design something differently. The mounts aren't too bad. The mounts aren't bad, but I would do something different. I just I don't like it. It works, but for the price you're paying, I'd do something different. And then for the brake booster, he had a 4AN here, so we did this. It was a female to female, and so what I did is I had a 4AN that had a 1/8 MPT plug in it, and then it was a male on one side, female on the other, and a 1/8 MPT plug in the middle. So I put a plug in there, took it over to the lathe, lathed it down so this hose would fit on here, and then just hooked it up to this, because this is your brake booster. It works just fine. I mean, it's not the nicest looking thing in the world, but oh well. Could be worse. And then I had to lengthen the throttle body, or throttle body wiring. So that's done. What else? Yeah, that's about it. For that. Oh yeah, no. This is probably the most stupidest part. So we had to do for the vent lines. These are your steam vent lines. We went up there to a 4A, and this is all 4AN, and then to here to this was kind of a pain in the butt. So we ended up getting a reducer from what is that thing? 1/2 inch, 5/8, down to, maybe it was 1/2 inch, maybe 5/8 to half. Yeah, maybe it was 5/8 to half, and then got a reducer from there. All this coupler mess. Oh, I can't see none of it. There we go. All that coupler mess. I mean, it's not horrible looking, but I wish we could have done a lot cleaner. It would have been really nice if we could have got something from like a 4AN to a 5/8 barb. Would have been perfect. And hook it on there. Would have been much cleaner looking, but oh well, it works. Nothing leaks. It's not the cleanest setup in the world, but I have seen a hell of a lot worse. So there's that. Oh, we had an issue with this thing running like crap, running super rich. Turned out it was the tune. We had this huge long conversation with me and Connor, the owner. He was 100% certain it wasn't the tune. We kept throwing codes, kept running super rich. It just, it was, and it drove semi-decent, but had issues. Turned out the tune injectors were flowed wrong, and mass airflow was done right. But what we ended up doing was I put a screen in there. A lot of guys, I guess, don't run screens, but for the horsepower he's running, the screen isn't going to hurt him or kill him. So by running that screen in there, you get a lot straighter airflow over the sensor itself, so you have a lot cleaner idle. So there's that. We're not running a factory computer. The factory computer's taken out. He didn't run the factory dash, so he doesn't care. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, a lot. You guys saw in the last video, I took a lot of wiring. It's all tucked underneath that. You can't see it. So, CAE shifter. Oh, I can show you the power steering pump too. So I gotta put a freaking diode in, because this light stays on when the car's off. When we turn it on, it goes away. Because I switched ground via switching power. I'd rather switch ground. So right now the relay back feeds power into this, so that's why this thing turns on. So that is the power steering pump, and then this is oil cooler. And then this is override for the fans. Hi, so here's the dash. He's got his cute little Porsche logo on there. That boot up, so you guys can see it. So that's the dash. That light right here, that is check engine, and then blinker, blinker. I'm running LEDs up front. I had to makeshift some LEDs in the front because he lost the sockets for the stock headlights. Actually, you know what? We'll do a startup and put you guys in the back. We'll go check out the power steering pump first. Okay. So this is basically finished project. Sorry I didn't get a bunch of extra video of doing this thing. It was kind of a hectic time. Why the thing just pop up? Good lord, I got a lot of shit up here. Alright, so this, the battery was dead, so I left the freaking power steering pump on. That is the power steering pump. This thing was all beat up, so unfortunately there's only one that has a rubber bushing. The rest are solid mounts, so we're gonna see what happens. So I guess it worked good. Not a single issue. I still gotta take all this wiring away. Technically this thing, which is really nice, if you have like AM or whatever, you can do a speed signal into the controller so it'll control the pump and vary the speed. We have it just hooked up. When you don't have the speed hooked up, it just turns on. I don't know if it's the full speed or if it can be faster or slower, I don't know. But the steering is very nice. So that's the pump. And I just ran a wire here, and that gets snaked up through all this fun stuff, and then it goes to a breaker right there. So that's that. Cool. I'll go set you guys up on the tripod and give it a fire.